Hi, Namratha, and thank you for agreeing to do this session with me. I'm really delighted to be able to talk to you about your book specifically, especially in light of the fact that it's just launched, that you've had a fabulous book tour in the US, and of course, World Book Day is coming up. So, if you could just introduce yourself for our audience today.
Absolutely, Gitanjali. It's such a pleasure to be here, and thank you for having me on your show. Um, so I'm Namratha Stanley, and earlier called Namratha Prashant. I'm the brand owner of Solicantis. I'm a wine merchant based in Bordeaux. I'm originally from India, but moved to France in 2017.
17.
And yeah, 17. I always get confused. 20 is when my daughter came, and 17 is when I came. So, and then I wrote a book about my memoir about my journey from India to France. And it recently got published in the US, and I've been doing the book party tour.
Yes, congratulations on that. It's been
Thank you
exciting,
so much.
following your journey.
Yeah,
So,
and you've known me since school times, since Alliance Française
yes,
times.
exactly. Yeah, so it's been a long journey.
Yeah.
So, your book is essentially a memoir, right?
That's right.
Yeah.
This is my journey from India to France
Mm-hmm.
and from being a housewife with a very difficult marriage for 12 years and moving to France and becoming a wine merchant and, launching my own brand of wine.
Mm-hmm.
And then all this while struggling to bring my daughter to France.
Yes. So, writing a memoir essentially means deciding what to reveal and what to protect. So, how did you navigate that choice?
Well, at some point, Gitanjali, I had to sit down and I had to think, really, do I want to put my story out there into the world?
Yeah.
I was in a better place and I didn't want to go back to those memories. I wanted to hide them and just, throw them into the sea and never look back, right? But somewhere, something within me kept telling me that, it's important to write this because somebody might get inspired. Looking at my life in India as a housewife, just cooking and cleaning, and then achieving some things that, even now I pinch myself thinking, how the hell did I come this far? And I think the book, as I have been told also, is quite inspirational for people who read it. And to see that, you come from adversity to success and from darkness to light.
Mhm.
So it's important, a story very important to be told and to be read.
I fully agree with you. I mean, I've seen you evolve over the years. So I mean, I never knew what you were going through when you were at the Alliance Française, but I know
Right?
your story. So I'm very glad that you decided to share it with the world. Um, would you say that there was a particular moment when you realized that your personal journey is something that's worth sharing with others?
Yeah, this was in 2019, end of 2019, when I was sitting and having a cup of tea, and I realized my life was very different in India, and the experiences that I was having here in France, living in the countryside and watching the wines during the growing season and meeting some amazing people and cross-cultural exchanges. So somehow I felt that this journey has been very, very enriching, and then I that's when I really decided to write.
Mm-hmm.
This was in end of 2019, and 2020 it really gave me the time to write
Yes.
because it was the pandemic.
Yeah.
We were all locked up in our homes.
Yeah, yeah. So, would you say that, while writing the book, there was some point where the activity, the exercise of writing itself, changed the way you understood yourself or your experiences?
Yeah, absolutely. I think the time when I got to France was a very interesting period for me because I was discovering not only a different culture, but I was discovering a lot of things about myself.
Mm-hmm.
So when I wrote the book and I was putting down points about how I evolved from, being that housewife to being
Yeah.
this businesswoman in France and navigating paperwork and language issues and, so many barriers, right? And a very a still very traditional country, I would say,
Yeah.
because
Yeah.
in India we think it's very libre,
Mm. Yes.
but there's still a lot of when you go into nitty-gritties of everyday life, then you see it's still a very traditional country. So
Mm.
navigating all of that it really helped me understand myself
Mm-hmm.
in a different setting altogether. And in India, it was total chaos. So there was so much violence, abuse, and there were people constantly, around me, including my parents, my
Yeah.
daughter, my dog. I was constantly needed by somebody or the other. When I came to
Pulled
France, there
in
was
different
complete
directions,
silence.
I guess.
Yeah, it was
Yeah.
just me.
Yeah. Amazing.
So really to have that calm and peace and to understand oneself is
Mm-hmm.
was a blessing.
Yeah.
And when I wrote, I wrote in that sense too.
Yeah. So would you say that you wrote this for your past self?
Not really. I wrote it for everybody. I wrote it for my daughter. I wrote it for all the women out there, even the men out there, because I think it's very important. We talk about women, but I
Mm.
think it's very important for the men to understand that, a little push for a woman will
Yeah.
mean going a mile,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
So it's very important that they should not feel compartmentalized into saying, okay, they're very misogynic, or they're very it's a man's world, and things like that. Of course a large part of it is, but there are a lot of men who are kind of wanting that change for women also. So somewhere I feel that I wrote it for the men also, to show them that if you help a woman,
Mm-hmm.
so many things can change, the
Yeah.
society can change.
That's true. Yeah. And it's only when you share your stories that it inspires people and leads to change finally.
That's so
Yeah.
true,
That's
because I had help from I had created a tribe for myself, because I had my family backing me up, I had my friends backing me up, I had so many people, colleagues backing me up. So I think somewhere once you have that tribe of men and women, then it's easy to move forward.
yeah, that's true. Like they say in French, vouloir c'est pouvoir. And yeah.
Oui,
Yes.
exactement.
So, just one last question today, Namrata. So, our app platform, Be a Reader, it launches on World Book Day. And our belief while building this app is that reading is a deeply personal act. So, if you could place your book in the hands of one kind of reader who is going through something specific, who would that be? And what would you want them to take away from your book?
Whoa, that's a difficult question to answer. But I think my book will, it's very difficult to say one category, because the book touches different categories of readers.
Right.
So, majoritively women,
Mhm.
between the age groups of, 30 to 60, 25 to 60, I would
Mm.
say.
Yeah.
Um, and then I would say, people who love animals, because there's my dog who saved me from depression.
Mhm.
So, animal lovers will like this book. There are also instances of wine. There's a lot of wine in the book, so people who love wine and travel, they will love this book. So there are these different categories, and friendships, and yeah, majoritively, the wine world also.
Right. Mm. Yeah, I mean, it is called Vineyard Melodies.
Yeah.
Okay. And is there something specific that you'd want them to take away from your book?
Yes, and the message that I want to give through this book is that anything is possible.
Mm.
You can go from nothing to becoming the most successful woman or man in the world if you put your mind to it, and nothing is impossible. So I don't think we should limit ourselves with any kind of, our own thoughts.
Mhm.
We can really achieve a lot if we open our mind and find that this world is a playground. It's all a matter of networking and getting out there and putting yourself out there, and anything is possible.
That's amazing. On that note, thank you so much, Namrata, for agreeing to do this in the middle of your hectic schedule. And
That's all right.
yeah,
A
I look
pleasure,
forward to
actually.
reading your book and to attending a book launch in India.
Yes, hopefully soon. Yay.
Yes, yes.